Hi everybody, it's Pam with Silver and Sparkles, and it's time for our weekly library card challenge. So this is the one where we're going to use hashtag weekly library card. And I try each week to give you guys a prompt, and we just hopefully make a super simple altered card that you'll enjoy having a collection of. So mine are a lot of different styles and colors, and they just are really making me happy. I think it's going to be really fun when I get like after a whole year of them. And I have multiples for some weeks. So anyway, we'll see what happens there. But I'm having a whole lot of fun with it. Last week was our favorite beverage, and I did several with the theme of hot tea, which is one of my favorites. Life is like a cup of tea. It's all how you make it. So there we go. This week we have our library card challenge, and I also have a freebie for you guys. So that's exciting. Let me set these aside. I'll put them right there where I can look at them. Okay, so the prompt this week is doors, and I was thinking about different door quotes and how we use that analogy a lot about doors opening and closing, those types of things. And I wanted some pretty papers to use. So I made a really simple freebie for everybody. And it has 3 different doors. This one's a little more of a fall themed, and these are just in some of my favorite colors. It's 1 page. I thought before I got on camera, I cut some of these out, but I haven't, so we'll do that together in just a minute. But what I loved about these is if you get them, they're on my Buy Me a Coffee, and print them out just the way they come, you should be able to do what I'm going to show you, which is print just on one side and then fold them so they make this nice feature, and you don't have to do any printing on the back. So I installed a couple of them. So this back flap is also a tuck spot in case you want to put some more journaling or something there, and they open. And this one says, God's plans are bigger than any of our mistakes. I didn't use an actual door on that one, but that's from one of my digitals, my faithful words, I believe. This one I love, and it says, life is so subtle sometimes that you barely notice yourself walking through the doors you once prayed would open. And that really spoke to me, and I love the roses, so that was a good one. And then this one is a little different, and I still had out my liquid pearls from the flowers I was making yesterday, so I used a few there, and they're still drying. But this one says, if you want God to close and open doors, let go of the doorknob. And I left some more space for me to write, and again, a tuck spot here. And that's a big one for me, is letting go, right? So anyway, door analogies, and I wrote a few more door quotes down that we're going to use while we decorate a few together. So simple, fun. You can use any papers you want. You can hopefully go grab this freebie and have other uses for it as well. Like I said, I designed it with the intent that I would just cut these out and then be able to fold them to have a fun flap feature on a 3x5 card. So that's basically what my library cards are. Now, I also, if you're new to this particular challenge, I also have same Buy Me a Coffee page freebie for library cards and for the pockets if you'd like some of those as well, so you can play along. If you don't want to use library cards, or you don't have a way to print them or something, that's okay. Just use a piece of cardstock, an index card, anything you want. I'm wondering, I might use that little since these are my doors, that little silver and sparkle, we'll see on something, the little branding there. Okay, super cute, and hopefully there's a style that suits you in these 3 if you're interested. Okay. So they all work about the same way. I did not score. I did not measure. So we'll just do this one first. And after I worked on them, I thought it would be interesting to have the doors open where the handle is. And of course, I did this one backwards. And then I didn't think of it, and I did this one the correct way. There's the handle, the actual door handle in the image, and it does open that way. And then this one I got correct. It doesn't matter, but if you want to look at the image and decide, that might be fun. So all I did was look at, so in this one, the handle's here. So I'm just placing this on the card about where I would want it. And I'm looking at it. And basically, I'm going to look at the image to decide where to fold this, if that makes any sense. I didn't say that well at all. So I'm just going to fold it over. And this is the part that's going to be glued together, because then that's when I'm going to lay it on the card. Let me just do it, and then I'll try to explain it with words. And it's going to fold back like this. All right, now. So basically what I wanted to do is I wanted to fold the part that's going to flap where I don't see any of the white paper. I'm going to glue this down. And then this flap will get glued to my library card. It's that simple. So I don't know why I'm having trouble finding the words to explain that to you guys today, but that's what I did. So it's not exactly in thirds. And again, I'm not, you decide where you want to fold yours. If you're doing this project, your cards might be a little different size, and it still should work. Unless you're using like a huge card. Okay. It's going to get glued to there. I do want some ink along this crease on the inside that might show. And I'll go ahead and ink around the card. Like I said, these are very simple. And again, the size I made them was intentional for this project. But I could see using these in other journals and things as well. They're pretty. I like them. Okay. Just double checking where I'm going to put it. So let's go ahead and glue this flap down so that we don't see the white paper. All right. There we go. And then, decide where you want it. I've been putting mine where when I do my little date stamp, you can still see it. All right, so I know I want it to be about right there. Now, this is where you can decide, do you want to just glue the whole thing down, or do you want to leave the option of using it as a tuck spot? And I'm going to do that. So I just put glue on the 3 edges. And that will hold it on. Maybe we'll make something to put in there too so everybody can see that. All right, there we go. I mean, how easy is that, right? Now, again, if you're doing this one, I don't want y'all to forget the hashtag. There's your hashtag. You do not have to do the date stamp, but I just love my little library card date stamp. I can't believe we're already at the 6th of October. Goodness gracious, time flies. Now, on the ones that I did, I wrote right on the library card the quote, except for this one that was from one of my digitals, and then I just tore it out. Because I wanted to make sure I had some quotes to use, I went ahead and wrote a few out. And let's use this one. It says, "Today is a perfect day for opening a new door." And if you guys love quotes like I do, go on Pinterest. Pinterest is free. I love Pinterest. And I'm just going to glue this down. And you can find all kinds of quotes, and that's what I did. I literally just put in door quotes, and then I read through a bunch and picked some that I wanted to use, or whatever kind of quote you're interested in. All right, now on a few of these, I added, like a little strip of paper for collaging. I added, the seam binding. Again, we can make these as elaborate as we want. It's completely up to you. I'm going to stay with the theme, that I've been doing, which is either a tab or a little ribbon. And I'm going to use some of my seam binding. The other thing I have on my agenda for today is to try to get my new seam binding collections on Etsy for you guys. Hopefully they will be there if you go peek. I'm also starting, I'm going to use a piece of this. I'm also starting to experiment with some, I've never done it, but eBay shopping, where I can put the link right there in the video when y'all are watching it if you're interested, and you can click on it and look at it. Not everything that I'll have, unfortunately, you can't connect your Etsy shop, which for me would be ideal, but I went ahead and made a different type of shop that will seamlessly connect, and it will have some of the same products, not everything. But then what I'm really excited about is I may do some lives where I'm able to sell during the live event, some of my journals and some of my other things. So anyway, stay tuned. Let me know if you're interested in that. I think it'll be fun, and I can answer questions and things like that as we go. All right. That is simple. I could put, like I said, I could collage some, but instead, I think I'm going to take just a moment, and I have some scraps sitting here, and I think I am going to, this is from my autumn charm kit. I'm wondering if I can make just a tiny card to put in here. I don't want to, well, here, let me just fold that up. We'll see what happens. I don't want to chop my house off too much. Let's see if we put it in like that. And maybe bring it to about right there. Instead of tearing it, I'm just going ahead and folding it over on itself. I can always add then a strip of paper here as well. There we go. So now when you see it from this side, it wasn't just the white. Another cute thing we could do is put a Velcro dot on some of these if you want it to stay closed a little better. Let's do that on this one. These are the super skinny ones that I love using. Ooh. And I get them on Amazon. All right. And I'll show you what the package looks like if you are interested in some super skinny Velcro dots. They look like this. They're the 3/8 of an inch ones that I use. All right. And it doesn't add, a lot of bulk or anything. All right, so then we have our little pocket, and we made this with one of my scraps sitting here. Let's go ahead. I know the orientation will not be quite right, but I'm going to just glue this little piece right on down, and it'll be sort of finished. We can always add a ribbon or some words or something to the little tag too. Okay. I decided I wanted to turn it that way. And I'm just gonna trim it off just a touch. There we go. I like that little cottage house. All right. There we go. This would be cute, like if someone is moving to a new house or a new home or something. Almost like, today it's a perfect day for opening a new door and then have like a little housewarming gift. You could put a gift card back there. Be cute. Okay, so that's one. And then let's do at least one more, but I wanted to show you again this process, and I'm going to use the image of the door to help me decide where I want to fold it over. So it's going to be right there. And then I'm going to line it up with the card, fold this side over, and now it should work. Let me go ahead and glue it down. And we'll see. If you guys do go grab that freebie, let me know if you like it. I am having a whole lot of fun learning, always learning, right? Learning how to make, digital paper kits. And I have quite a few now, and it becomes almost addictive. I know when I did my first one, a lot of you guys, I think, know Joey Cardmaker. He has an Etsy shop and is on YouTube and Instagram and stuff, and he's just a dear man. And he told me when I did my first digital kit, he was like, "Oh, Pam, it's addictive. Just wait." And he was right. And I've used his paper kits and worked with his products for years now. And yeah. Oops, very talented creator. He also does, if you guys aren't familiar, he calls it Take and Make, where you can download a freebie, and his are always so nice. And he does then a video of how it was designed and what you can make with it. But then, of course, you can use the papers for whatever you want. So, he's on Ko-fi, not Buy Me a Coffee, Ko-fi. But anyway, if you're interested, you should be able to find him. If not, let me know and I'll try to send you a link. Okay. I just think these images are pretty and fun to work with. Let me show you. Again, I just had this piece of scrapbook paper that I thought coordinated really well with these papers. And so I'm using my tear ruler, and on a bunch of them, I just did, just a strip, and I just thought it looked nice peeking out. So I'll do that. And then decide if we're going to do a ribbon and what quote, and if we're going to or do something different, right? I have all kinds of stuff that I could grab. I think a button or a faux button would be cute. And again, if you're looking for things like that, make sure if you haven't, you check out my freebies. They stay up there. And I have that faux button one too that would be fun with this project. You could, put the button, a pretend button or something there, and it really show where you open it. And if you don't want to put, quotes, you can leave it for journaling space too. All right, this is an Emerson quote. Be an opener of doors. And this one, kindness unlocks doors that were thought to be closed forever. Yeah, I love both of these. Kindness. I may have to just use that as a prompt here before too long. It's I have a lot of kindness quotes that I love, and it changes the whole world, right? When we're kind to each other. Okay. That's nice. Love it. And then I have, some of my buttons and things sitting here. These are some that I had pulled out, wanting to think about fall. I've got a few oranges. I kind of don't want to cover up the door handle, but wouldn't that be cute right there at the door handle? That would be really cute. I wonder if I used a tiny one or a smaller one, if it would look better. I don't know. I really do like this color. This color is fun too. Here's one that is kind of that pearl, but a tiny bit smaller. Let's see what we can figure out here. It's small enough that it could come over to the side a little if I wanted it to. Would also be cute there with the wreath. Wouldn't it? Looking, this wreath is a touch bigger. That would have been really cute too, wouldn't it? Well, now I'm really starting to think, everybody, like, what would be fun and cute. Here's some wood buttons. I was wondering if there was a little bitty one or something. Maybe. Now, this one we haven't made yet, but we could use a button since it doesn't have a wreath. That's really huge. But wouldn't that be kind of fun? Like mimicking a wreath a little bit. It'll add bulk, but I might do that with that one. All right. Now I'm getting way into the weeds, aren't I? All right, I'm gonna leave this one because we did the little extra tag, our little journaling card for that one. The question is, do I want to put this with the wreath or do I want to make it like over to the side? I know you guys probably have opinions and are thinking, and I wish I could hear you. Okay. Here's an even tinier one. I'm just thinking if I can find the perfect, but like that one. Isn't that going to be cute? Let's do it. Okay, I'm going to save that one there. Let me get these wood ones out of my way. Again, I have a little bit of a button issue. It's only an issue if you're worried about it or concerned about it, and I'm obviously not worried about my button issue, that I have a lot of them, and I have a hard time not grabbing and collecting more. We did some fun thrifting while we were on vacation, not as much as we sometimes do. It wasn't a vacation, you know, just to go yard sailing or junk store shopping, but you know, that's where we find ourselves because my husband enjoys it too. And let me see if I can tie this. Anyway, and I got some more buttons. I did a few more. I try to only get ones now that I think are just extra special because I just have so many, but you know, sometimes it's hard to resist. I did get a package. In fact, I may know where it is and I can show you guys. There was like a bunch of different shades of green buttons. Yeah, and I needed those. Needed them, you say. Okay, I have my hot glue heated up. That was a big old dollop of hot glue there, Pam. Didn't need that much. Okay. Now, at least I remember to plug that in before. Right as we got started, I had plugged it in. I'm going to put a drop of this glue on this bow to help it not untie. And I think the only other thing, I am going to put a Velcro on this one too, because I am liking how that's helping it close. And I always end up somehow with these off. I don't know how I do that. And what I mean by like is I'll have more of one half than the other. And I don't know what happens to them because, you know, I don't use a half of a Velcro dot. Okay, very cute, very fun. All right. I know it's not necessary that I make the other one, but since I have this idea, let's just do it really fast. Same idea. And I'm going to fold it over based on the door and then line it up right here. And what it is, I'm lining it up with this edge, okay? So that when I fold this one over, everything lines up the way I want it to. And then we'll play with the button for a wreath. And then I will let you ladies or gentlemen go. I actually realize I do have some men, not very many, but some men that watch. So welcome, everyone's welcome. And did I tell you guys about the little meme I saw? I think I did. I think I told you guys. But anyway, you may not have watched. So I'll tell you again about, it said something about statistics show that those who have grandma hobbies live longer. And I was like, really? And it was talking about like knitting and cross stitch and crocheting and even I think cooking. But apparently junk journaling, paper crafting, these types of things, all the vintage stuff that I love is also considered grandma type hobbies. And I'm like, well, I'll take it, you know. I love crafting, and if I could do it, I would do all those things I just mentioned too. And I'm actually not a bad cook, but like I've never been good at knitting or crocheting, but I wanted to be, or quilting. I wish I had paid attention. All right, this one I did not leave open as a pocket. I realized I was yapping and I just closed it down. All right. And again, the date stamp is just something I enjoy. Okay, this button I think is meant to go like this, but I like the darker side. And again, we could do it in where I think you would normally hang a wreath at the top where the glass is for this door, but I'm going to be different and put it down here. I just think it's going to look interesting. All right, I also want to be an opener of doors on the inside. I'm going to go ahead and glue that down. And you know what? I think I'm also going to put a piece of this in here just to be different. Now I could use the darker side. Let's see what that looks like. Ooh. Yeah, I kind of like that. I'm going to make it just a touch thinner. Okay, and I wish I had torn it where the white core wasn't showing as much, but I didn't want to tear on this side because I wanted to see that image on my paper. So we're going to just deal with it. All right, I didn't think I was going to want the darker paper, but I do. We'll see what happens. And it's a smidge taller. I think I didn't cut this very straight the first time I cut it because sometimes when I've laid these on the library cards that are all the same size, it's the right height, and then sometimes I have to cut a sliver off. Again, not a problem. Not a problem. Okay. I'm going to put that, I think, about right there. For some reason, I decided I didn't want them to peek out when you're looking from the front, but they certainly could. You know, it's not, again, not a problem. Okay. I think I'm going to use the same skinny twine. We could probably make a piece of seam binding go through it, though. Wonder, got a little bit that has some orange on it, and then I have some of these kind of browns too. Bit of yellow. This coordinates really well with the leaves. Let's just see what happens. I don't have to commit, right? I can change my mind. It'll probably be a little challenging to get it through. Now, what I've done in the past is I've taken like a needle like this, even though I didn't thread the ribbon through, it helped push it through. right? And I obviously am not going to use this much seam binding, but I'm not going to trim it just yet. See if we can push it through with our needle and grab it. I'm almost there, I think. It'll be funny if I go to all this trouble and then I don't like it, but that's okay. And I don't think a bow, if I do the big, the seam bindings that's larger, just probably a little knot. Come on. Oh, almost have it, almost. I feel like I almost need a pair of tweezers. There we go. See, if I had done it the other way, it would even look cute with it, hanging out the back. But let's just tie it once and see if we like it. Oh, yeah, I do. I think it's cute. All right. I like the color I chose. There we go. Okay, definitely different, but the dark brown here almost looks like that dark there. So let's stick her down. So cute. You can even use it to open it if you want to, but I am gonna, I'm now really on this kick that I'm enjoying these guys, the Velcro guys. I thought there was, anyway, I thought there was one more of this style. There we go. I know I'm muttering. I apologize. Okay, that's all right. Oh, how cute. Yeah, that was fun. I'm really glad that I took the time to try another little embellishment. This one's still drying. These are almost dry. The little pearls. This one I made the pocket. Several of them have pockets. I just haven't necessarily made something for all of them. And then again, some have their little closures and some don't. All right, super easy, super fun. The prompt was door or doors. See what you can come up with. I would love to see what you make. Tag me, use the hashtag, and let me know what you've done, okay? Until next time, everybody, have a great day. Don't forget a thumbs up and drop me a comment. Thanks.